Arthur-Lovington breaks through in the bottom half of the fourth inning with 2 runs. And now Avery Schrock has a lead to work with as we go to the top of the 5th inning. And it's the top of the order for the Villa Grove Blue Devils. Bennett, Gavin Gunter, and Garrett Gunter. First pitch to Bennett is a ball. Bennett 0 for 2. He's grounded to short and was called out on strikes. Right-hand hitter takes a strike at the knees, and the count is 1-1. Here's a windup by Avery Schrock, the right-hander's pitch. Low in the dirt. Bennett did a good job of holding off on the swing. Saw that it was in the dirt, and the count goes to 2-1. And the next pitch is low for a ball, and the count is 3-1. And walking the leadoff batter after you've just gained a two-run lead is not something that Avery Schrock wants to do. Here's a fly ball to center field. Travis Schuring takes a few steps to his left and makes the catch to retire the leadoff batter here in the 5th inning. Villa Grove with 4 hits through 4 innings, 4 1/3 innings. They've had 2 runners on base twice in the ball game, but they have yet to score. First pitch swung on for a strike by Gavin Gunter. Gunter flied to right, grounded back to the pitcher who made the play unassisted. Ooh, off-speed pitch. Called for a strike, and the count is 0-2. Gavin Gunter calls time. Takes a couple swings at the air, steps back in. Here's the 0-2 pitch by Schrock. Swung on and missed in the dirt. Catcher picks it up, throws to first, and they're 2 up and 2 down here in the 5th inning. Play goes 2-3 for the putout. And that is the 3rd strikeout for Avery Schrock. He's walked a couple. And that'll bring up Garrett Gunter, the 3rd baseman. Here's a ground ball deep to third. Long throw to first base. Yanta stretches, but gets his foot back on the bag. And the Blue Devils go down in order for the first time in the baseball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We played 4 1/2 in Arthur, and the Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond Knights lead the Villa Grove Blue Devils by a score of 2-0. Alan Patton back at Juergens Park in Arthur as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Knights with the 2-0 lead over Villa Grove. Leading off for the Knights will be the 2nd baseman, Andrew Jamison. He'll be followed by Noah Yantis and David Emmerich. Austin Hubbard has gone the distance so far for Villa Grove. First pitch skips in for a ball. Knights picked up 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Got their first 2 hits in that inning as well. "1-0 the count to Jamison. The pitch on the way from Hubbard. Called strike. And the count is even at a ball and a strike to the right-handed hitting Andrew Jamison. Pitch on the way from Hubbard. Ball low. Count 2-1. Knights are without a couple players today. Justin Hayes and Evan Sigmiller are on a senior trip with the senior class at Arthur-Lovington High School to Washington, D.C. Here's a bunt. Popped up down the first base line, rolls foul, and is picked up by Austin Hubbard. And the count is even at 2-2. Sigmiller, one of the top players in East Central Illinois, announced a few weeks ago where he'll be headed for college baseball. I believe it's Coe College in Iowa. I think I saw that. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Jamison. Grounds it to the right side. First baseman picks it up, makes the unassisted put out. And there's one away here in the 5th inning for the Knights, and that'll bring up Noah Yantis, the first baseman. He went down swinging in the 3rd inning as Hubbard struck out the side in order. Hubbard has 4 strikeouts and 1 walk through 4 1/3 innings. Hubbard looks in, steps back, brings it home. Yantis squares to bunt, pulls it back, and it goes back to the screen for ball 1. Now Craig Moffitt talking to Yantis. Maybe Yantis got the signs wrong. Once again, Hubbard looks in. Into the windup and the 1-0 pitch. Low for ball 2. And the count goes to 2-0 with David Emmerich in the on-deck circle. Center fielder Terrion Price, fairly deep. Right fielder, fairly shallow. And the left fielder, Isaac Bennett, back deep against the short fence in left. 2-0 pitch is high for a ball, and the count is 3-0. Hubbard was cruising along. Retired the first 10 batters he faced. Here's a 3-0 pitch on the way to Yantis. Called strike. And the count is 3-1. With 1 out, Ross Ryan walked. Andy Webb singled. Travis Schuring hit into a fielder's choice. Then Jeremy Plank drove in 2 runs with a base hit to right. Yantis takes the pitch low, and that's ball 4. Jeremy Plank did a good job drawing himself into a rundown after that base hit. He stayed in the rundown long enough for the second run to score and to count before he was retired. He got about halfway between first and second, got himself in a rundown and stayed in the rundown long enough for that run to score. And since the second run crossed the plate before the 3rd out was made, it counted. And that's where we are right now, 2-0. Jason Badman coming out to talk to the Blue Devils. We said the Blue Devils a very young team. Only 2 seniors, 5 juniors, a sophomore, and 5 freshmen. So the Blue Devils kind of taking their lumps this year. But hopefully if the kids stay with the program and develop, they will be back to being a power in baseball as they have been over the years. Here's the stretch, the first pitch. Called strike to David Emmerich. Runner at first, Yantis. Maybe not a threat to go, but he takes the lead. Now gets back on the throw. 1 strike to count to Emmerich, the 8th place hitter for Coach Craig Moffitt, assisted by Dale Schuring. Here's the pitch. Runner squared around to bunt. Here's a throw. Pitch was high or looked like it was high for a ball. So I think we've got a count of 1-1. See what the umpire says. He's the man whose opinion, whose word counts here. It is 1-1. Hubbard to the stretch. Looks back at the runner. The pitch. Called strike. Again, Emmerich squared as if he was going to bunt, then pulled the bat back and took the pitch for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Emmerich. And the pitch outside for a ball. And the count is even at 2-2. Brad Miller, the designated hitter, is on deck. 1 on, 1 out here in the 5th. Pitch on the way, swung on and foul tipped. And it goes back to the screen. Gavin Gunter, the catcher, had a little trouble finding the ball for a second, but now he spots it and throws it back to his pitcher. Austin Hubbard, junior right-hander. Runner takes his lead at first. Eversole holding him on. Here's a throw over to first. Runner back in plenty of time. Not really close. Throw is off a bit to the home plate side of first base, so here's another quick throw. Yantis is back. Apparently they think Yantis is a threat to steal, or at least they just don't want to ignore him. Because if they ignore you, then they'll probably steal on you. Here's the pitch. Here's the runner going. And he's in safely with a stolen base. Well, the pitch was a ball to Emmerich, and the count is full at 3-2. Yantis going on the pitch. Guess he figured, you throw over here enough, you think I'm going to go, I'll show you and I'll go. And he did. And he made it in. Now Hubbard looks back at Yantis at second base. About a 3-4 step lead. Pitch on the way. And a called strike 3 at the knees. That's the 5th strikeout of the ball game for Hubbard. And with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, the batter is Brad Miller, the designated hitter. Miller struck out to end the 3rd. Nobody really, well, now the shortstop Simmons is coming over to cover at second, but on the last pitch, nobody was really covering second. Dale Shurian, the first base coach, telling Yantis to take a little bit bigger lead with nobody covering him. Now Boatwright takes a couple steps, slaps the glove, tries to get Yantis to think he's coming over to cover, and he goes back. He goes back towards second base. Oh, there's a line shot over the fence here on the first base side. And the count is 0-2. Brad Miller, right-hand hitter, batting in the 9 spot. Here's a stretch by Hubbard. The pitch swung out and missed. Strike 3. And that retires the side. So in the 5th inning for the Knights, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. Our score after 5 full innings of play at Juergens Field in Arthur. It's the Knights of Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond 2 and the Villa Grove Blue Devils nothing. 6th inning, 3-2-1. Alan Patton back at Juergens Park in Arthur. We go to the 6th inning with Villa Grove batting, trailing Arthur-Lovington by a score of 2-0. Leading off the Blue Devils will be the shortstop, Michael Simmons. He'll be followed by Spencer Eversole and Terrion Price. First pitch is an off-speed pitch. It comes in a little bit low for ball 1. Simmons has 2 of Villa Grove's 4 hits on the afternoon. Here's another off-speed pitch that drops in for a strike. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Simmons doubled down the left field line in the 1st inning. Here's a ground ball halfway down the 3rd base line. The pitcher picks it up, throws to first, and the ball gets away. And the runner is safe. I think we're going to call that an error on the pitcher. I think a good throw would have had the base runner. Ball was kind of tapped halfway down the 3rd base line between the mound and the line. Schrock came off the mound, threw to first. Yantis had to stretch. Ball just eluded him. And I think with a good throw, with a on-target throw, then Simmons would have been out. But So Villa Grove with a runner at first, nobody out. The batter is Spencer Eversole. Eversole is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Takes the first pitch high and outside for a ball. That's the first error of the ball game. And it puts a runner at first with nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Scheduled 7-inning contest between these Little Okaw Valley Conference rivals. They've been rivals for years and years, going back to the days of the old, and I mean old, Okaw Conference. Here's a pitch, fly ball into right field. Right fielder coming in, makes the run and makes the catch for the out. As we said earlier in the ball game, there's a little bit of a drop-off, at least in right and center. Can't tell if it's that pronounced. Maybe it is out in left. But around the infield, drop-off from the infield out into the outfield, and the right fielder, Utterback, had to come up a little bit to make the catch for the out. So there's one away, and the batter's Terrion Price throw over to first. Price has grounded out to short twice in this ball game. Right-hand hitter, junior center fielder. Here's the pitch low and away. Gets away from the catcher, and that's going to be a wild pitch to send Simmons to second base. So Villa Grove with a runner in scoring position. They've had four or five batters in scoring position, but haven't been able to get anything across the plate. Price tries to bunt and drops it foul. Had runners at second and third in the first. Had a runner at second in the second. Had a runner at second in the third. Had a runner at second in the fourth. Now they have one in the sixth. So that's a half dozen batters or half dozen runners in scoring position. And they have drawn the collar so far as getting a run across the plate. Schrock looks back, turns and throws. Simmons back in plenty of time. Outfield straight away for Terrion Price. Here's the stretch and the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball to the left side. Webb can't handle it. Runner goes to third, and Price is safe on the second error of the inning on the ninth. That just went through the wickets of Andy Webb. He thought he had it, looked at his glove and it wasn't there, and looked back and it had gone through his legs into short left field. So Villa Grove with runners at the corners, the tying run at first with one out, and the batter is Austin Hubbard, the pitcher. Hubbard has grounded to short and walked. Here's the stretch. Fake to third and a look over at first. I guess they're still allowing that in the high school level. Here's a runner headed for second. Price is in standing up. Jamison cut off the throw. So that gives Villa Grove two runners in scoring position. Tying run is at second with one out. Schrock will pitch from the windup now with runners at second and third. Here's a pitch called for a strike. 0-2, I believe, is the count. First pitch was a called strike. That one was too. Schrock with the 0-2 pitch. Off-speed delivery, just missed. Umpire was ready to call that a strike, but held up on it. And the count is 1-2. Arthur-Lovington at Woodhammond leading Villa Grove 2-0 here in the top of the sixth inning. Next to last chance for the Blue Devils. Here's the pitch. Inside for a ball, and the count is even at 2-2. Schrock has given up 4 hits through a little over 5 innings, 3 strikeouts and 3 walks, or rather 2 walks. Here's a pitch fouled back to the screen. He's been hurt by 2 errors this inning. One was one of his own, as he pulled the first baseman off the bag to the leadoff man, Michael Simmons. Here's the pitch on the way. Ground ball, first base side. A runner's, no, Yanis throws home and the runner is safe. Everybody is safe. Yanis picked it up, thought he was going to step on the bag and maybe throw, but he came up about 5 feet short, through to the plate, and the runner is safe. So that is going to go as a, I guess you call that a fielder's choice. And a run batted in for Hubbard. And that brings up Jake Riefsteck. Still runners at the corner. 1 out. Here's the pitch. Riefsteck, line drive, left field, base hit. Tying run scores. And Villa Grove has tied it up here in the top of the 6th inning on a base hit to left by Jake Riefsteck. His second hit of the ball game. And we have a 2-2 game. And now Craig Moffitt will come out of the dugout and talk to his infield. Meanwhile, the base runners and the batter, Miles Boatwright, go down to talk to the Villa Grove coach, Jason Badman. So things take a little bit of a strange turn here in the 6th inning. Simmons reached on a ground ball out between the mound and the third baseline. The pitcher, Schrock, picked it up through to first. First baseman couldn't handle the throw. It was a little bit off target. Simmons was safe. A wild pitch moved him to second. And then Price hit a ground ball to short that went through the legs of the shortstop, Andy Webb. Hubbard hit a ground ball to the first baseman, who instead of stepping on the bag and throwing home, elected to throw to the plate, was late, a run scored, and then Riefsteck with a base hit to drive home the tying run. Now Miles Boatwright, the batter, takes the first pitch low for a ball. Boatwright 0 for 2, ground to short, ground back to the pitcher. Runners at first and second, 1 out, we're in the top of the 6th. Pitch on the way. Called strike, evens the count at a ball and a strike to Miles Boatwright, the sophomore second sacker for the Blue Devils. Runner at second is Hubbard. Runner at first, Riefsteck. The pitch in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, and the runners will move up 90 feet. And Villa Grove with 2 more runners in scoring position. That's 4 they've had in this inning. They've had one base hit with runners in scoring position, but that was a big one, as Riefsteck drove in the tying run with a base hit. 1-1 the count to Boatwright. Here comes the runner from third. Suicide squeeze attempt is popped up foul behind the plate. Jason Badman sent his runner at third, Austin Hubbard, headed for home, sent him to the plate. Boatwright squared the bunt, got the bunt off, but popped it up behind the screen, and the count is 1-2. Here's the pitch. Again, bunted foul, and that is going to be a strikeout. And I don't think he got the call, or got the sign right. That's going to count as a strikeout. Bunted foul on with 2 strikes on him. And so now with 2 away, that's going to bring up Isaac Bennett. Bennett 0 for 3 this afternoon. Fouls the first pitch off on the first base side. Bennett has grounded to short. Been called out on strikes and flied to center field. Villa Grove with a pair of runs on 1 base hit, couple Arthur errors. Here's the pitch. Line drive, center field, and Shureen leaps and reaches back to make the catch. Ball was headed toward the gap in left center. Shureen headed toward that gap, reached back, had to reach across his body because he's a left-handed thrower, reached across with the right hand, made the catch to retire the side. But in the inning, Villa Grove comes up with 2 runs on 1 hit. There were 2 errors by the Knights, and there were 2 runners left on base. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning with the score, Villa Grove 2 and Arthur-Lovington 2. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning at Juergens Field in Arthur. We've got a brand new ball game. Villa Grove tying the score at 2-2 in the top of the 6th inning. Leading off for the Knights, it'll be the top of the order, Schrock, Ryan, and Webb. To face Austin Hubbard, right-handed pitcher for Villa Grove. First pitch on the way to Schrock. He squares to bunt, fouls it or hits it off the plate. The pitcher throws, and they get him out. Schrock bounced that off the plate, and apparently it did not hit him or the catcher. And the plate is in play. So Schrock is retired for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Ross Ryan. Ryan 0 for 1. Walked his last time up. Fouls the first pitch back behind the plate for a strike. Ryan called out on strikes in the first inning. Reached on a walk in the 4th. And was thrown out on a force play later in the inning. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Tie ball game at 2 apiece. Ross, right-hand hitter, takes a pitch high and inside, and the count is even. Villa Grove with 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors. Arthur-Lovington, Atwood Hammond, 2 runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Taken for a strike. And the count is 1-2. Andy Webb in the on-deck circle. One of the Knights' leading hitters this year. Hubbard into the windup and the pitch on the way. Taken low for a ball. And we got a count of 2-2. At least I do. I don't know what the umpire has. I know. Did he say 2-2? Okay. We're kind of getting the side view over here, so it's... Here's the pitch. Fly ball, center field, Price. He's right there, and he makes the catch for out number 2. In baseball talk, Ryan got good wood on the ball, even though they haven't used wood for the most part for 20-some years. But he got the ball, made good contact, but Terrion Price had him played perfectly. Just took a couple steps to make the catch. That'll bring up Andy Webb, the shortstop. Webb, right-handed hitter, takes the first pitch low for a ball. Webb got the first base hit of the ball game for the Knights. Back in the 4th inning, scored the first run of the game. 1-0 pitch on the way from Hubbard. In the dirt, ball 2. Austin Hubbard has struck out 6 and walked 2 rather. Set down the first 10 Arthur-Lovington players in order. Here's Hubbard's pitch on the way. And it misses the strike zone, and the count is 3-0. Travis Schuring is on deck. Nobody on, 2 out. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning. For Villa Grove in the top of the 7th, it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Gavin Gunter, Garrett Gunter, and Michael Simmons. 2-2 ball game here at Juergens Park in Arthur. Here's a pitch on the way. Batter squared to bunt, pulled back, and it was a ball. And that's the 3rd walk of the game given up by Austin Hubbard. That'll bring up Travis Schuring, the center fielder. Schuring 0 for 2. Fouled out to the first baseman. then hit into a fielder, reached on a fielder's choice and scored rather, what was at the time the go-ahead run. Hubbard steps off the rubber, looks the runner back, now throws the ball away. And it's going to go into the dugout. And he gets the base. So a throwing error on Hubbard sends Schuring to second. Made the quick throw. Hubbard did over to first. And it was out of the reach of the first baseman, Eversole. So Schuring goes down to second with 2 out. And now Hubbard looks back. Once again, now Boatwright comes over a little bit. Schuring with plenty of daylight between him and the bag. Now shortstop and second baseman fake toward the bag. Here's a called strike on the pitch to Schuring. And the count is 0-1. As we said, a lot going on at Juergens Park and the surrounding area today. Looks like a track meet, probably maybe a junior high track meet over on the football field beyond the left field fence. So I drove in, saw Villa Grove and Arthur-Lovington softball going on. 1 strike to count to Travis Schuring. Pitch on the way, inside, goes back to the screen. Runner goes to third, and now the throw gets away, and here comes the runner around to third, and he's going to stand up to score, and it is a 3-2 ball game. As Webb goes to third on the wild pitch and scores on the throwing error by the catcher. So Arthur-Lovington takes a 3-2 lead here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 1-1 the count to Schuring. Right-hand hitter, left-hand thrower. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way from Hubbard. Low for a ball, and the count is 2-1. All this going on with 2 outs. Schrock grounded back to the pitcher. Ryan flied to center field. Webb walked, went to second on a wild pickoff attempt, went to third on a wild pitch, and scored on a throwing error. Here's a ground ball to the left side. Third baseman has it, throws. He's not going to get it in time, and Schuring is safe at first with a base hit. Kind of a slow bouncer to the third baseman. Garrett Gunter charged it, fielded it, got the throw over, but was just not going to catch Travis Schuring, who has some pretty decent speed. That'll bring up Jeremy Plank. He drove in 2 runs in the 4th inning with a base hit to right. Here's Schuring going on the first pitch. Throw to second base is not in time, and Schuring has a stolen base. So that's the 2nd stolen base for the Knights this afternoon. Runner at second. 2 out. Schuring taking a pretty good sized lead. He may be going on the pitch. Now Hubbard steps off, takes a couple steps on the back side of the mound, and Schuring goes back, but now he's coming off again. Boatwright coming over from second, trying to hold the runner. The pitch on the way, popped up, first base side for a foul ball. 1 strike to count to Plank. Plank is 1 for 2 today. Popped up to second base in the 2nd and got the base hit in the 4th inning, so he's 1 for 2. Here's a stretch by Hubbard. Lead by Schuring at second. Here's a line drive. Ooh! Right off a nice red Cadillac. I think it was just a glancing blow. May have a dent in the hubcap or something. Count 0-2 to Plank with Andrew Jamison on deck. Here's a pitch in the dirt. Schuring going to go to third. Second wild pitch in the inning for Hubbard. And the count is 1-2 to Plank with 2 out. Knights getting a run with 2 out here in the 6th. Hubbard pitching from the windup now steps off. Schuring coming off the bag, now goes back. 2 strikes, don't think we'll have a squeeze bunt attempt. Here's Hubbard with the pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Shortstop has it. Simmons throws and retires. Plank to end the inning, but Arthur-Lovington picks up a run without the benefit of a hit. Or rather, there was 1 base hit. Check that. 1 run on 1 hit, 2 errors, and 1 runner left on base. We go to the top of the 7th. Last chance for the Villa Grove Blue Devils as they trail the Knights by a score of 3-2. We go to the top of the 7th. Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond leads 3-2 as the Blue Devils come up for their last time at bat. Gavin Gunter will lead off. Hits the first pitch down to the third baseman. Long throw over to first in plenty of time, and there's 1 away in the top of the 7th. Have members of the Villa Grove softball team sitting behind us. They just got finished defeating Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond by a score of 2-1. So congratulations to the Lady Blue Devils. That'll bring up Garrett Gunter, the third baseman. He fouls one off his foot over on the third base side. Blue Devils are going after Avery, or rather, we've got a new pitcher for the Knights. Andy Webb is on the mound now, right-hander. Here's a line drive into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. And so the tying run is aboard for the Blue Devils here in the top of the 7th. Well, looks like a lot of changes for the Knights. Here's a ground ball, foul down the, oh, it's fair off the bag. Thought it was going to be a foul ball, but it hit the bag. Ross Ryan now at third base. So the go-ahead run is on at second for Villa Grove with 1 out here in the 7th, and the batter is Spencer Eversole. Garrett Gunter at second. Michael Simmons at first with 1 out. First pitch is low. Looks like Avery Schrock has gone behind the plate to catch. Ross Ryan is at third. Jeremy Plank has gone to short. Here's a pop-up on the first base side. Everybody's running for cover. He was over by the bleachers just behind us. Everybody was headed for the hills to get away from the ball. And the count is 1-1. Jamison still at second. Yannis still at first. Looks like the outfield is intact. Here's a pitch high for a ball. And the count is 2-1. Gavin Gunter grounded to third to lead off the inning. Garrett Gunter singled up the middle. Michael Simmons singled off the bag at third. Here's a pitch swung on and fouled down the left field line. And the count is even at 2-2. Runners at first and second for Villa Grove. 1 out here in the bottom, or rather in the top of the 7th. Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond leading the Blue Devils by a score of 3-2. Eversole gets back in. Right-handed hitting freshman first baseman. Here's a pitch in the dirt. And the count is full at 3-2. Well, we didn't have any scoring until the bottom of the fourth inning. And the pitch is a ball. Eversole walks. The bases are loaded with one out. And Terrion Price is the batter. Craig Moffitt coming out for a word with his pitcher, Andy Webb, who replaced Avery Schrock in the top of this inning. Price and the third runner at third. Garrett Gunner talking to Villa Grove coach Jason Badman. Bases are full. One out. Price this afternoon is 0 for 3. Flied out to right field the last time up. Flied out to center in the third. And struck out on a called third strike in the first inning. Tying run at third. Go-ahead run at second for the Blue Devils. Here's Schrock. Here's a runner trying a squeeze play. Here's the bunt. Yannis gets it. Makes the tag. And the runner scores, and we've got a tie. Nope. They say no tag was made. No, now they say he was tagged out. So Price is out 3 unassisted, but he gets the RBI as a runner scores from third. First pitch to Hubbard is a strike. Garrett Gunner went streaking down the third baseline. Price did a good job of laying down the bunt. Yantis got it, applied the tag, but it was too late to get the runner at home. And we have a tie ball game at 3-3. Here's a pitch fouled off. Nope. Here's a throw to the plate. And the runner is safe as the catcher drops the ball. Hubbard goes down to second base, and Villa Grove takes a 4-3 lead. I thought that was a foul ball, but there was no signal given by the home plate umpire. The throw to the plate was knocked loose, and the run scores. And on the play, Hubbard goes down to second base. So Jake Riestek, the batter. Ground ball up the middle. Jamison has it. Throws to first, and that retires the side. But Villa Grove takes the lead with 2 runs in the top of the 7th inning. 2 base hits. No errors and 2 runners left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. For the Knights, it'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Jamison, Yantis, and Emmerich. Villa Grove leading after 6.5 by a score of 4-3. 3, 2, 1. New pitcher on the mound is Michael Simmons for Villa Grove. The first batter he faces is Andrew Jamison, and he fouls the first pitch for a strike. Jamison 0 for 2. Austin Hubbard goes to left field. Terrion Price goes to shortstop. And looks like Isaac Bennett has gone to center field. 1 strike pitch as a ball, and the count is even at 1-1. Simmons comes in from the side. Here's a fly ball to center field. Bennett is there, takes a few steps to the right, and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So with 1 out, the batter will be Noah Yantis, the first baseman. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. Pops up the first pitch, short right field. And now Boatwright comes in on the infield dirt to make the catch, and there are 2 up and 2 down for the Knights, and they're down to their last out. And that'll bring up David Emmerich who is 0 for 2, a couple strikeouts. 4-3, Villa Grove leading. Here in the bottom of the 7th, the first pitch to Emmerich. Low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, nobody on and 2 out. We're in the bottom of the 7th from Juergens Field in Arthur. Here's the pitch. High for a ball. Brad Miller in the on-deck circle. Yeah, looks like we may have a pinch hitter. Looks like Mason Lee in the on-deck circle for the Knights. Here's the pitch. Low for ball 3. And Simmons falls behind with a count of 3 balls and no strikes. So the number 8 hitter. Here's the pitch. Called strike. Emmerich taking all the way. And the count is 3-1. Pitch on the way. Ground ball out in front of the plate. Pitcher comes, picks it up, throws to first. Not in time. And the tying run is at first base. Looked like Simmons and the catcher had a little trouble communicating about who was going to take the play. But that'll bring up a pinch hitter, Mason Lee, number 17. Right-hand hitter coming up. Emmerich at first with 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th. 4-3 ball game, Villa Grove on top. Simmons pitching from the stretch. Looks in for the sign from his catcher, Gavin Gunter. First pitch gets away from the catcher. And the tying run is now at second base on the passed ball. Pitch was low and away. Gunter had his glove on it, but couldn't come up with it cleanly. And now Jason Badman is going out to the mound for a word with his infield. I'm sure he's telling his pitcher, Simmons, and his infielders just to get the batter. Just work on the batter. The tying run is down at second base now with 2 out. Mason Lee pinch hitting for the DH. Brad Miller. Miller was 0 for 2 in the ball game. 1-0 the count, with a runner at second and 2 down here in the 7th. Stretched by Simmons. Look back, the pitch. This one goes back to the screen, and there goes the runner down to third. The wild pitch puts the tying run at third base with 2 out. As we said earlier, there's not a lot of room behind home plate, so you really got to be careful if the ball gets by the catcher. Here's the pitch on the way. In the dirt. Good stop by Gavin Gunter, and the count is 3-0. So with 2 out, Simmons has gone to 3-0 on the last 2 batters. And the tying run is down at third base. Here's a pitch called strike. The count is 3-1. 3-1 count to the number 9 hitter, the top of the order, due up next in Avery Schrock if Lee can get on. Simmons pitching from the windup with a runner at third. 3-1 pitch. Half swing, went around, and the count is 3-2. So it's down to this pitch for the Blue Devils. 3-2 count, runner at third, 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th. A 4-3 Villa Grove lead. Here's the windup, the pitch. Called strike 3 at the letters, and the ball game is over. So Simmons comes in, nails down the victory. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. For the Villa Grove Blue Devils, 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, 10 runners left. For for the Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond Knights. 3 runs on 4 hits, 2 errors, 3 runners left on base. The winning pitcher for today is Austin Hubbard, and the losing pitcher is Andy Webb. Villa Grove goes to 2-7 on the season. Arthur-Lovington now 5-9-1. So Villa Grove comes to Arthur, comes away with a sweep. The softball team won 2-1, and the baseball team won by a score of 4-3. I want to thank you for joining us today on DouglasCountyDigest.com as we have brought you this Little Okaw Valley Conference baseball game between the Villa Grove Blue Devils and the Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond Knights. Alan Patton saying thanks for being with us, and have a good afternoon, everybody.